So often the life of a restaurateur or a restaurant manager operator is a life of urgency. We are often so engaged with a variety of urgent needs that sometimes the important things are a little out of reach or they become more elusive. And that's often where I come in as a restaurant consultant for Harper Foodservice. A restaurateur will recognize that they have a need or they want information or they want someone to kind of trust but verify with. While I do have a certain level of expertise and experience with a variety of things, I am always learning new approaches and new innovations with everyone that I interact with that kind of add to my body of knowledge. So it's a real organic exchange of information. The reason why I bring this up is because during these past few months of COVID, the need for operational efficiencies has grown. And I think probably one of the most pressing needs that I've been engaged with in these past few months is helping restaurateurs understand, onboard, and effectively implement online ordering. And so that's what's going to be the focus of this video. And with that announcement, allow me to welcome you to Adapt and Thrive with Online Ordering. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the costly inefficiencies of phone-in orders and the telephone process. And whenever I'm working with a client, I like to find out what is going to be an appropriate fit for the way that they go to business. And so I want to talk about a lot of the different consideration points that I would be exploring with you in person about that would lead towards identifying what the right online ordering platform would be for your systems. And we're going to finish it off with a closer look at a few best-in-class online ordering systems, their providers, features, and pricing, with a little extra focus given to one in particular. Let's paint a word picture about telephone takeout and the costly inefficiencies that are wrapped up in that experience. And it starts right there with the phone line. You have a tremendous loss of opportunity when you are limited to your phone lines. So inefficiency number one is the phone line itself. I want you to think about times where you were so busy that it just seemed to be that as soon as you would hang up the phone, it would be ringing again for you to take another order. What that tells me is there's a questionable amount of phone calls that were getting busy signal after busy signal after busy signal, and you can never really understand or know exactly how many people gave up and moved on to their next option. Now, connected to that is how labor intensive a telephone ordering process is. You always need someone manning your phones, and with the labor costs what they are and the position the industry is in right now, we really are trying to do the most we can with as little people as possible. And so that telephone ordering person is generally taken away from other duties within the restaurant. When dining rooms are open, sometimes they were servers or hosts, but you always want to give your first priority to the people that are there, right? Now, also, there's a high potential for errors. You got background noise on either side of the phone line. The person that's calling could be looking at a potentially outdated menu. The experience is rushed, and because it's rushed, there's a lot of side selling and upselling opportunities that often go to the wayside, and mistakes are rampant. Now, I trust that some of you have got this dialed in well enough that mistakes aren't really a big issue for you. And if that's the case, maybe this will resonate with you. There's the risky point of sale prospect as well. If and when a diner doesn't show up for the meal that they ordered, you've lost 3 times. You've lost the food, you've lost the payment, and you've lost the labor going into it. I myself have a couple of favorite restaurants that phone-in orders are their only option, and I've given up myself. And worse, I've seen a lot of complaints online from customers about how they had so much trouble getting connected, and it just caused a lot of frustration for them because they weren't able to get what they wanted, and you weren't able to give them what you wanted to give them. And so I hope that it's easy enough to recognize and accept without being able to pin down the numbers because they're so elusive, just how costly continuing with a telephone ordering process could potentially be for you. And as we move forward through this presentation, I would like to at least give you an opportunity to recognize the additional benefits and some of the drawbacks that are going to be coming with online ordering. In today's age, we're going to be winning by cents and not by dollars. And so every little bit is going to count. So let's compare and contrast and outline the benefits of utilizing an online ordering system for your operations. giving people an online platform to order from is going to give you unlimited simultaneous orders. You're only going to get as many orders as you have phone lines to accept them. You're going to have increased accuracy because the diner has got the time to casually peruse your menu and to consult with other people that may be in their same household about additional add-on items that they might want. We're going to talk about this in a little bit, but these can even be set up to prompt upselling opportunities like a server would in person. You're going to be faced with a much lower labor demand because most of this ordering is processed directly through their own point of sale, and maybe it's your point of sale. And so there's no real Q&A back and forth or misunderstandings between person to person. Now, this next one's a bit of a no-brainer. It is a far superior point of sale. Now, before you, the operator or the cook, even gets the order to start cooking it, it's paid for. This person has gone through the process of selecting everything that they want from you, connecting in their name, their phone number, and their email address, and their credit card information, and it's paid for. If they don't come and pick it up, you just fed somebody in your house, right? In fact, a huge majority of online ordering platforms give you real-time management. So if you need to 86 items or even right down to an ingredient, you can do that, and that can go live for the rest of the evening. And then you can put it back in if you had to send someone to the store or whatever. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but just by the simple process of ordering, you've captured customer data, and most of the time they have given you permission to contact them. And so what that means is you'll start building a database of diners that come with, like I said, their name, their phone number, their email address that you can market or remarket to, or even use as a communications platform to let them know about what your status may or may not be. Now, I also mentioned this earlier, and I'm circling back to it now. Many of these online ordering platforms will be structured in such a way that you could be prompting people with upselling opportunities or suggestive selling. So this could give you an option to start controlling your inventory in creative ways, or just start to organically start driving those check averages up. Speaking of check averages, just the simple process without leaning into it any one way or another, online order check averages are statistically 15 to 20% higher. Some are even higher than that. So of all the dozens of platforms that are available for you to connect with, how do you choose one that's appropriate for you? So let's unpack that a little bit. Almost all modern point-of-sale systems will grant you access to some sort of an online ordering system. Some are going to have this functionality built in, and some are going to have that solution available and waiting for you to integrate with it. Now, if you don't have a more modern point-of-sale system, if yours is maybe it's not legacy, maybe it's a little bit newer than that, but still not the fancy dancer cloud-based flavor of the week, those are more likely than not going to have some sort of a partner that they integrate with that will help you build and develop your own online ordering, and it will integrate with your point of sale. And I'll go into the pluses and minuses of having something that integrates with your system and something that is separate. The benefits of having an online ordering catalog that is integrated with your point of sale is your orders will flow seamlessly into the kitchen. If you are data-minded, the data is going to be automatically aligned with your overall systems for reporting, for, at-a-glance numbers. Now, some systems are going to be integrated well enough to update your online catalog in tandem with your in-house catalog. If it's a separate system, you've got to take 2 steps in order to make some of these updates. Now, I've worked with operators who had really an unbeatable credit card processing contract negotiated that they were grandfathered into from 1972, and they don't want to pay any more than that. And so for them, that became the consideration point that I helped them to isolate an option that allowed them to use their own credit card processing, but those can be a little bit rare. And of course, there are a number of drawbacks that are going to come with integrated online ordering catalogs, and I'll just name a few that have been deal breakers for many. A lot of them can be very feature light. They don't have some of those key bells and whistles that makes this a process that is more seamless for you, the operator. And we were talking about urgency versus importance before. The last thing you need in your life is something that's going to be stealing even more of your attention and keeping you away from things that are potentially a lot more urgent than having to manage an online food catalog. especially when you really need an online food catalog to be working for you in this day and age. I've talked with a number of operators who had online ordering baked into their point of sale for free, and they wanted to find a third-party provider because what they had was too clunky or too difficult. And this was often combined with poor service and support. And I've encountered one or two along the way that had pricing that was too good to be true until we dug a little deeper to find out why. And it came down to credit card processing was a nightmare. And so that was a deal breaker for, well, both of them. Like I mentioned before, there are so many options. There are dozens of decent options for online ordering catalogs. And I really couldn't possibly outline every scenario and expect any of you to be awake at the end of this video. And so what I want to do is invite you to collaborate with me, and we can talk about the different nuances of what you already have in place and where you want to go. And that can help us really kind of go through that matrix and figure out which nodes are going to be right to plug you into. But for now, and with full disclosure, I don't know everything. I only know what I know. And I've encountered a few that I would consider to be best-in-class providers. That doesn't mean that there aren't some out there that might even be potentially better than what I'm about to mention to you, but I want to share what I know, and as I start to learn more, I'll start sharing more. But for now, look here on the screen, I've got three names. I've got Gloria Foods, and that's something that I've just started to learn more about, but they have very, very competitive pricing, and I believe an elegant interface. But full disclosure, I don't know a lot about them outside of that. One of the early companies to catch my attention is called To Go Technologies. I was really impressed with their interfacing. They seem to integrate with a lot of different point of sale systems, and they have one particular feature that I find to be very attractive, maybe not for today, but down the line, is advanced throttling. What that means is their AI within the system is going to give some different automated response times for new orders when there's a huge density. And I'm not exactly sure how that works because, I'll be honest, they've been slow to respond to some of my inquiries, but I have seen that in action, and it's a useful feature, especially in 6, 7, 8 months when you've got a hopefully full dining room and a lot of to-go orders coming in. It'll start to stagger those orders so that it doesn't flood your kitchen, and it's able to give reasonable expected times to the phone-in orders to come pick it up. And third is ChowNow, and I'm going to be spending a lot of the rest of this video talking about ChowNow, and I'll tell you why. It's because they are probably the most feature-rich service that I've encountered. They have terrific customer service, and they're very responsive enough that we've been able to pre-negotiate a really good deal for customers referred by me or Harbor. Now, before we start skipping along with ChowNow information, I just want to call out that I don't work for ChowNow. I work for you. And so when I talk about ChowNow, I fully understand that it's not the only option out there. But what I appreciate about them is they offer a referral bonus to people who refer customers to them. And in early conversations, I proposed an idea that rather than giving me the referral, what could they do to make a better deal for our customers, for you, the people that I work with? And that led to what I feel is a really good pre-negotiated sign-up referral rate for you. And so I'll be outlining what that means near the end of me talking about ChowNow, but I was impressed with their sense of value and that they bent the rules in your favor, and they seem to continually do that sort of thing. So let me get started. ChowNow was one of the early services. They've been around, I want to say about 8 or 9 years, which is a lifetime in technology. And they continually keep adding on more and more new services without raising prices. What I like about ChowNow is that on top of other things, they bundle in marketing services and support. They're going to give you monthly automated email marketing campaigns that are going to communicate out to everyone that has ordered through that platform to you so far. I also like that they provide you with physical marketing collateral. You get access to a graphic designs team, and just by pulling the trigger on signing up with them in whatever fashion, you get 250 flyers. They're, I don't know, flyer size, a little bigger than a cell phone. And it is the kind of thing that you can put in check presenters. You can put it in, what I recommend you do is put it into third-party delivery bags to incentivize people to start ordering direct takeout from you, or to put it in the bags of people that own it, that phone in their orders. And so you can start converting them over to the online platform. They will create and distribute order now buttons and spread them across up to 14 different internet platforms. So part of the onboarding process is they're going to work with you to get access to your website to put an order now button on your website that will take you to a pre-built online catalog that they will make for you based on your directions. On Google searches, well, for your Google My Business profile, you'll see often, you can picture this, you see directions, hours, things like that. There's a button there's going to be order now, and that could link you directly to your catalog, or you can even have an order now right through Google. Google Maps. So when you pop up on a Google Map search, people can order from you directly from Google Maps. And Google Maps cover almost 95% of search engine queries for the internet. So that's huge. It'll connect to your Facebook, to your Instagram, to Yelp, and more. Like I said, there's 14, and some of them, I don't even know why they do it, but they're there. And this is one of the shiny things that has been attracting a lot of people in this direction is they offer you commission-free delivery through DoorDash. So ChowNow has a partnership with DoorDash, and the way that works is that the delivery fees are passed on to the consumer at $6.75 for the first mile and $1 for each additional mile. It does seem steep, but I can tell you that it's not that different than what third-party delivery companies are charging for delivery after they take your commission. And ChowNow has set up this so that you can absorb some, all, or none of those costs. Something that I've worked out with some operators is after they've run with ChowNow for a couple of months, we were able to figure out where that average ticket cost was. And so for one operator, it was about $35. And so we've incentivized them to get free delivery for orders of $45. And that just inspires them to spend another $10. And so there's a lot of flexibility baked into it. And the driver that you get is got to have a 4.8 star rating and have completed something like 50 deliveries. So you're not going to get the new guy who doesn't know how to put his pants on. I mentioned that they've invested in customer service. You have access to a 24/7 US-based customer service line to troubleshoot for you if you don't have the time. And you have a dedicated ChowNow consultant. I think they're called restaurant coaches, but this is the person that you will be able to collaborate with to start creating unlimited promo codes. Those are useful because if you're very marketing minded, you can create, for the same deal, you can create several different promo codes that may represent a different demographic or communication stream that you're reaching out to. And this is like shouting into a cave to see what echoes back. And so it'll help you identify who your demographics are and start to adjust your marketing strategy along those lines. Something else that's great about ChowNow, and to be honest, this is probably something you're going to get with every online ordering company, is you own your own customer data. People that order through DoorDash or through Uber Eats, DoorDash and Uber Eats, that's their customer data. You'll never see it. When people are starting to order their online ordering from you, you own that detail. And so the reason why I put it in under the ChowNow, again, is because of the commission-free delivery through DoorDash. People that order delivery from your website are being taken to the DoorDash platform, but you have their information. They've got a server-free in-person dining function. This is a new feature that they'll help you design and present QR codes that are slaved to a table number. So for those of you who are going to be getting by with maybe outdoor tenting to attract more customers, but you don't really have the staff to run in and out, you could create a system where people can go to the tent, scan a code, and order from you, and then it can be expedited right out to them, or they can be alerted to just come to a window and pick it up. It's not going to work for every restaurant type, but it could work for tents, and I know that it's working for a few of our bar and grill customers, that they have just that level of service dialed in, that they don't really need to have somebody working a dining room all the time. And this has worked very well for them. Now, there's a couple other optional items that we can talk about real quickly. One is a loyal local membership for your diners. What this means is someone will pay you, say, $100 for an annual subscription to your restaurant, which will get them 20% off for that year. Generally, the statistics that I've seen on that, it's going to take them about 5 or more visits to make up that $100 investment. And I haven't seen a lot of people bite at it, but I think the logic is sound. It's a way of capturing a regular. And let's be honest, 20% is better than the 35% that you're losing to a third-party delivery. And if they are really going to be pressing that and taking advantage of it, well, you're getting somebody to come into your establishment a lot more than they probably would have otherwise. And for those of you who may or may not be interested, there's also an optional custom app design and creation. It's going to add another couple $1,000s to your commitment to this. If you feel it's something that you really want to do. I've had a lot of people expressed interest in it. And to be honest, I think there's only one that I felt like it was a good fit for. And so if you've got a chain of restaurants and a following, I think it works for you. If you're just one restaurant, no matter how popular you think you are, let's be honest, it's just an icon on a phone, and you're going to do just as well by funneling people to your Order Now catalog on a website. It's going to look just as good on a phone as it does an app. But, I've got to be honest, I only know what I know. I don't know what you know. That's why we're better together. So if there's a reason why you feel getting a custom app made for you is a really good choice, let's talk about it. Give me a call. I'll even happily help you research and find a few other options that might suit your needs even better than this. The next question I get after talking about some or all of those previous points is, how does it work? Now, I'll tell you how ChowNow works, and it's not really all that different from a lot of third-party tablet-based systems. You're going to be issued a tablet. It's going to be on a stand, and it's going to be rather sturdy. It's going to buzz and flash with every new order. It's going to give your staff an opportunity to check it out, see what it says, verify even if just mentally that, yeah, we can do all of that. The menu is still current, and you can accept it. At that point, you can give all sorts of different estimated times. So if it's a BLT and you're slow, it could be 5 minutes. That sucker can be ready. If you're really busy and you need to prioritize other things, you can give them an hour estimated time. An hour for a takeout order, it's not a big deal. That just tells me I can go see if they're selling toilet paper again somewhere on my way over there. It's different than when somebody is sitting in your dining room. And like I mentioned before, you have their data. So if there's an issue after you've accepted the order, you can immediately call them up or send them an email and work out whatever issues might be coming up. Now, the tablet was going to have a ChowNow dashboard access to quickly modify your catalog. This isn't going to be as feature-rich as the full admin control, which can be accessed online through your owner's profile and from anywhere in the world, for that matter, as long as it's connected to the internet. Big reason for that is you don't want a random employee, and I'll just be optimistic, making a mistake and ruining some really key information in the back end of your dashboard. Another great feature for this and almost any other online ordering provider is that dashboard control that you can manage from literally anywhere. And through ChowNow, you can rent or buy a dedicated Bluetooth printer that you can literally put anywhere in the building that you want because it's Bluetooth. You don't have to worry about the wires. And at this point, it kind of comes down to, okay, cool. I like it. What's it cost? All right, so here's what it costs. It's subscription-based. I hadn't mentioned that yet, but this is not a commission-based service, so it's predictable pricing, which is a feature I would be looking for in whatever you choose for yourself, unless the commission is extremely low. If you look here, a monthly membership, go month to month, you're going to pay, by default, a $399 setup fee and then $149 a month. So you're looking at, just to get started for that first month, $548. If you want to commit to an annual or a 2-year contract, my free advice on this, take it or leave it, is I think that if you really want to do this, I would recommend just signing up for the annual. At the rate of pricing, you're going to have this paid for within about 6.5, 7 months of going month to month. Now, like many other programs, you're not paying $119 a month. You're paying the $1,627 up front. You're paying for the whole year up front, or $2,575 for a 2-year program. But wait, folks, there's more. Like I mentioned earlier, we've pre-negotiated a deal for our harbor referrals. ChowNow has agreed to offer $200 off the setup fees and double the marketing flyers. And so with those pricing considerations, here's the new spread of costing. If you want to sign up for an annual contract, you're looking at about a $1,400 investment. And I can tell you that in almost every restaurant that I've seen on board this, or again, any other online ordering platform, it's paid for itself. That year is paid for itself within the first month, and then it's all profit. I have seen restaurants that went from telephone ordering to online ordering get, I think, $800 in orders in their very first day. What that told me was that there was $800 worth of business that was going to their website or to Google first to find out what you had to offer and to get a phone number, and they found an order now button and used it. So there's always going to be more things to talk about, but we can't talk forever. So right here, I want to give you a warm welcome and an invitation to reach out to me personally, and we can have the next step in the conversation. I think that I've given you enough information for you to consider, and go to these websites and look at some of these options. Get a hold of me, get a hold of your sales consultant, and we can help get that conversation started. And I can share stories that we're seeing from the field, and we can really dial into what your specific needs are. I only ask that, considering the day and age that we're living in, that you please send me an email and provide me with your name, your restaurant's name, a website link, and the topic or topics that you'd like to collaborate on. And if you wouldn't mind giving me 2 or 3 opportunities that I can circle back and connect with you, I will do my level best to hit your first, if not second choice. It has been a pleasure speaking with you today. And I'd like to invite you to stay tuned for the next video in this series. It's going to be a deep dive into your digital storefront. We want to give you detailed yet accessible rundowns of action steps so you can update and optimize your online presence. We're going to talk about the importance of being current on Google, the 5 must-haves for restaurant websites. They don't have to be complicated. They just have to have these 5 key items, and simple methods of maintaining a social media presence so that you don't have to live your life on Facebook just to get a like. And I look forward to seeing and collaborating with you all in person or on our next webinar.